obviously really disappointed to be up the way we were in the fourth and not be able to hang on to the lead. When they made the adjustment of going to the zone, that really, I thought, I guess it got us on our heels a little bit, and we were unable to make shots, and we made some decisions that ended up, the result of that were runouts. There's a reason why they shot 78%, I think, in that fourth quarter. A lot of that was just, some of them were layups. And then, when you're down like that, like Ohio State was, and they start taking shots outside the perimeter, there's really no risk. There's really no kind of pressure. And I thought that they took a lot of threes, which that we knew that they would, and we were willing to live with some of those into the shot clock, or even when we were pressed up and within reach, and they still knocked them down. So not that all of them weren't wide open, because some of those were, but I'm disappointed in us and our ability not to handle that zone better, particularly going down the stretch in the fourth.
Questions?
Yeah, 27 games in the season with a fairly veteran squad. Why do you think some of these lapses, these breakdowns keep happening, especially here at home?
Well, I don't know that, you're right, there's 27. To call it a lapse, I don't know. I mean, we're not hitting shots. We're getting good shots, we're not hitting shots. I'm not sure it has anything to do with our offense. I don't think it does. I think we're just not able to hit shots. We're not knocking them down when they matter the most. And we continue to get good ones because I watch us on film. We continue to be in the gym and get extra shots up. And so I've seen this group, have success at shooting the ball beyond the arc, shooting the ball inside the arc. But for whatever reason, here as of late, we've really struggled scoring the ball. And on the nights that you're not scoring the ball, you gotta be lockdown defenders. And when we needed to take good shots and not press, which I think we did, that led to, like I said, the runouts, the layups that are hard to contest. And so that's what's frustrating for me the most, I think. And so I don't know if, like I said, they're not trying to miss. They're not. It's just that they are. 4 for 12, 4 for 11, 0 for 4. We're just having a hard time finding the bucket right now.
I guess the flip side of that is, obviously you've had some offensive struggles, but is it more disappointing the defense coming down the stretch today? I think they made their last 11 field goals.
Defense let us down today. There's no question, because you're right. We're old school over there on the sideline, and on the nights that your shot's not falling, can you hang on to a 10-point lead because you're still getting stops? And like I said, I think we started pressing there a little bit, and we started, certain pieces out there started doing things that they shouldn't be doing inside of the offense. And I thought we pressed, it looked like we got a little tentative, like I said, there's no real defense for a bad shot, a bad turnover, which leads to a run out. And we talk about that all the time. We got to have great shots. We got to take care of the ball, because if you don't, Ohio State's a team that's really wants to get the ball up the floor quickly. There was no defense for that, a run out layup. I mean, we just couldn't get back. But we were also at a disadvantage because, like I said, we were putting ourselves in positions, I think offensively, whether we fell down after we missed or whether we attacked the baseline, and it was just an easy run out. We didn't get back. And so I think it was a combination of the two. We pressed offensively, made some poor decisions with the ball, and then that led to some easy runouts for them, and then they got some confidence, and then guess what? That bucket starts to get big, and a little point guard, she stuck a few. Madison Green, give her credit. She stepped up, I think, in a big time way tonight for her team.
Will, go ahead.
Coach, you're talking about the zone and whatnot. It seemed like they were picking you guys up really high, trapping the guards just almost as soon as they get across half court. Is that fairly atypical compared to the other zones you guys have seen this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's, we've seen 2 threes, we've seen 3 twos, we've seen 1 3 1s, we've seen trapping, we've seen no trapping. You've watched us put Grace in the middle, we put Allie in the middle. And again, normally we've had a lot of success doing that. Grace was obviously short getting to the rim today. Why? I don't know. She wasn't trying to miss layups, but she did. She missed a lot of them. Allie, we put her in there, and at one point all she had to do was turn and stick it. Instead, she puts it on the deck, and it's a little bit closer to a contest, and she hesitates, right? And when you hesitate like that, the chances of that thing going down are not very good. And so I was, frustrated by that, because both she and Grace have been in similar situations, throughout this season where they've been in the middle and they've really been successful, and they've stuck shots for us or made the right reads, kicked out, today we just we didn't do that the way we needed to.
In many ways, this has been one of the best seasons, in program history, because you're in the tournament, you could lose out and still be there, which is different. You're not fighting your way in, but at the same time, you've had a couple of these meltdowns where you've lost to Northwestern, you've lost to Iowa, you have 4 losses at home now, which is as many or more than on the road. So what keeping this season, other than that, from being as great as it could be, as great as it has been in a lot of ways?
Well, it's losing in ways like we did today. I think that's disappointing. Especially when you lead for most of the game, and then you have a 10-point lead in the 4th, and all you have to do is hit a few shots and then get stops, and we didn't do that, and therefore we're on the other side of winning, and to give up 31 points in a quarter. You look at the stat sheet, we win the first, we win the second, we win the third, and then they outscore us by 10 in the 4th. They shoot 78%. They stick 9 threes. Our goal, they average around 8 mades a game, and so we went into the game today with the goal being less than 4, trying to cut that in half. And there were moments in the first half where we just left them wide open, and they shot it without a contest. So as good as this group has been throughout the season, we still got ways to go here. We got several games left down the stretch, 2 of them on the road. That's all well and good, but you want to be playing your best basketball, right, in late February, early March. And right now, the last 3 games, I don't feel like, I don't know, and our staff doesn't, and our kids don't. We don't feel like we're playing our best basketball right now. And so we gotta figure out how to turn that around.
Coach, you guys were trailing by 2 with 38 seconds left. Allowed Ohio State to dribble out the remaining shot clock, and that was on green. Hit kind of that floater. Is that just a situation where you're electing to trust your defense over fouling and extending the game, or what was the thought process behind
Well, there was
that?
8 seconds difference, so we felt like, and I still had a timeout left. And so if we could get a stop, we were going to get the ball advanced and then go for a 2, right? Because at that point we could have tied it up. And so our defense has been reliable throughout the season. It's been really good at times. And let's face it, it's a runner, right, from 12, 15 feet out that banks off the backboard and goes in. That's tough luck on our part, but I thought our kids played it the way they needed to. They contested it, made it hard. It was a rush shot, but the thing went down.
And then going down the stretch, a lot of your players were in foul trouble. It seemed a lot like a lot of the players on the court were getting a little upset with the refs with the fouls on light contact. How do you coach your players through adjusting to playing tight defense with the risk that your top scorers could be fouling out fairly quick?
Well, we shouldn't be complaining at all. We got to the free throw line 36 times, right? To their 22. So the game was being called back and forth. And the message there is that you got to suck it up. You got to play through it, and it's going to be physical. I thought the officiating's the officials today. It was a physical game, and we put pressure on them to have to make calls. But it's also I think all of us want some flow to the game as well. So you got to let some of those things that could be questionable go. And so shame on us if we allow that to dictate whether we are aggressive on both sides of the ball, attacking and or guarding. And so we have nothing to complain about as far as the officiating tonight. We got to the line 36 times and he only had 28 of them. And you guys have heard me say this before, we should be a much better free throw shooting team than shooting 78% tonight, from the free throw line, because we spend time. It'd be one thing if I didn't carve out enough time in our practices for intentional free throw shooting, but we do. And we needed every one of them tonight, as we always tell them. Every free throw matters, every rep matters that you do, and like I said, we'll go back and we're just going to keep preaching the same things, to this group, because I know that they're going to be disappointed, as we are. Great crowd today. I think over 6,000 folks came out. For it's Alumni Day, so I really want to thank Hoosier Nation for supporting us and showing up in a big way. It's disappointing, and our apologies for not being able to bring it home today.
Jeremy, and then Will, and then we'll wrap up.
Just in terms of building the lead, seemed like you guys were fairly patient and methodical, I guess, in that process through the first 3 quarters, kind of limited their runs a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, it's going to go back. I think we're going to watch that fourth, Jeremy, and go, what are we trying to do here, right? We're pressing a little bit. That's not you. Be who you are. Do what you do. Do your job. Again, I think back to some of the open shots that Jalen got. She can't cash out right now. Same deal at Illinois the other night. She got some really good looks. Feet were settled in. She wasn't rushed. Brenna, great looks. It's not going down for us right now, but we got to stay encouraged and stay confident that sooner or later that basket, I'm convinced, is going to find the bucket for our players.
You went with Grace Wagner there, second guard off the bench. What did you feel like you got out of her?
Well, Grace has just done a great job of inside of practice and one of the things that we found with Wagner is that she's long, she's athletic, she's more athletic than you would believe, and we felt like defensively she was, when we go to our bench and we're not, you give up an open 3, Kiana, then we're going to make an adjustment, right? And we're going to not continue to, it's our job as coaches to put the players that are going to give us the best possible chance of winning games out on the floor. And she's proven every single day in practice that she's been steady, she's been sound, she pays attention. She wasn't going to try to do anything out of the ordinary offensively. She's going to play within herself, and she was going to make all those hustle plays, right? And we knew that because that's what she does in practice. And so we had talked about just rewarding her for her patience and also for the work she's done in practice. So I thought she got in the few minutes that she played. She did a nice job.
Coach, one final thing. Alexa Golbe, the last couple of games, has been really solid scoring the ball, just overall out there with your effort. Is that something that maybe you feel like kind of gets lost in the shuffle, taken for granted on the day?
No, we're not taking it for granted. She needs more shots. She goes 2 for 3. She scored the other night up at Illinois for us. She's getting herself to the free throw line, which is terrific, which means we are getting her the ball. She has to get probably more shot attempts. Like I said, she's also, as we tell our kids, either you make the shot or you get to the free throw line. And so she's being really aggressive, not just offensively, but also rebounding the ball for us. And she's been a great 5 defender for us. And so I thought, again, if there's, a kid that was a steady again, back-to-back performances, certainly it would be Lex. She showed up in a big way on the road the other night at Illinois, and then I thought she showed up in a big way today. But I can say this, that, you know, none of these kids, you know, care. We didn't get the result we wanted. So whether they showed up and they played well, you know, is beside the point, you know, today. This one stings and it's disappointing. But like I said, we're gonna have to regroup and go back on the road in Minnesota and you know, try to get another road win.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.